Before I get to the sermon today, here at Trinity, if you are new, we have what's called a Worldview segment. You might ask, well, what's a Worldview segment? Why do you do it? Here at Trinity, we believe we're a spiritual intersection where moral, cultural, social, political issues collide with biblical truth. We believe that our members should be informed to know how to pray so they can be empowered to act. And we base this moment out of 1 Chronicles 12:32, an Old Testament verse of Scripture which says, the sons of Issachar understood the times in which they lived and they knew what they should do. We as Christians today, we have to understand the times in which we live so that we might know what we should do. And I want to talk about patriotism this July 4th weekend. And you know, the percentage of Americans who say patriotism, religious faith, family, and other traditional American values are very important is on a deep decline, according to a Wall Street Journal poll recently. Beginning with patriotism, only 38% of Americans say it's very important. It's down from 61% just in 2019 and 70% in 1998. Support for every traditional American value included in the poll has receded since 1998 besides one. Guess what it is? Money, which has grown in importance. The data also shows young people and Democrats tend not to highly rank traditional values as much as older adults and Republicans. Nonpartisan, these are just the facts. The word patriotism is actually a noun, and it means devoted, love, support, and defense of one's country. It also speaks of national loyalty. You see, as Christians, we can obey man as long as in obeying man, we don't disobey the higher power, God. We can be both Christians and patriots. Matter of fact, patriotism has become and needs to be differentiated from nationalism. What's the difference? Someone has said that nationalism is one God under nation, but patriotism is one nation under God. The word patriotism was first recorded in the early 1700s. Interestingly, in the 1770s, the word patriot could refer to a, quote, member of a resistance movement, a freedom fighter, specifically those who fought for our independence from Britain in the War of Independence. Now, we all know America has changed dramatically in the last, not only in the last decade, but in the last few years. Why? Due to a sharp spiritual decline away from God and the God of the Bible, because of political division, COVID, and the lowest economic confidence in decades, all of which is having a profound impact at the core of our American values. We as Christians, we can be patriotic Americans. Some say, well, how can I be a patriotic American when I look at all of America's sins? Well, first of all, you need to look at all the sins of the world and then your own sins. Now, America's sins, it's not so much that America has sinned. America, what America stands for, the ideals. It's not so much that America has sinned, but the leaders who were supposed to and are supposed to represent the values of America for all Americans. These leaders, throughout the last 200 years, these leaders, not all of them, but many of them, these leaders have sinned. You see, leaders in each generation will be held accountable for how they have sinned against the laws of nature and nature's God, and how they have sinned against the American ideals, the American values, and the Constitution of the United States of America. Now, we all know that Jesus isn't an American. He's not a registered Republican or Democrat. He doesn't care whether you fly an American flag in front of your home or church or have it displayed in an auditorium somewhere. His concerns are far greater. He's the king of an eternal kingdom. All other kingdoms are temporary. All other kingdoms will come to an end. All other kingdoms will be swallowed up into one kingdom, and there's only one king over that kingdom, and his name is Jesus Christ. But having said that, 2,000 years ago, Jesus had a country. He had a nationality. He had a shared identity. He was part of this earthly realm, this earthly life. He was Jewish. He was a rabbi. He was a son. He was a brother. He was a member of the community. He was referred to as Jesus of Nazareth on many occasions in Scripture. He paid taxes. He attended synagogue. He took public transportation, which was a donkey in his day. He had a job. And if he could have voted, If he could have voted, he would have voted. The Apostle Paul, the greatest Christian that's ever lived. Paul asserted his Roman citizenship, even though he was a Jew. He asserted his Roman citizenship. And he said, they asked him, was it bought? Was it given to? And he said, no, I was born a Roman citizen. And yet, he also asserted his love for his own countrymen. In Romans chapter 9, Paul said, if I myself could be cast away, if I myself could be condemned to hell, that my kinsmen, my brethren, my fellow Jews might be saved, then I would offer up myself on behalf of my countrymen. He was very loyal, very patriotic. He was a good citizen, a contributing citizen to Rome, and he obeyed the laws of Rome until, in obeying the laws of Rome, he defied the laws of God, and he always chose to obey the laws of God. So for us as Christians, we share a duality of existence. Our first citizenship is in heaven, and we are loyal to one king, King Jesus. But we're also citizens of the United States of America. And we must work for the greater good of the United States of America. Some Christians are so heavenly minded, they're no earthly good. And some Christians are so earthly minded, they're no heavenly good. While we are here, we're the light of the world, we're the salt that retards corruption, and we are to be the bulwark of God to hold back the flood tides of sin and evil that would completely destroy our nation.